Hello and welcome to Midday Prime. Over the next 1 hour, we'll bring you all the stories and updates from India and the world. We will update you on all the happenings in the world of business and sports, and we'll get you some interesting stories that are making headlines. But first up, the big news at this hour. German Chancellor Angela Merkel meets Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi. Intergovernmental consultations held. Both the countries signed 22 MoUs or pacts. Prime Minister Modi calls upon Germany to explore opportunities in defence corridors of India. Public health emergency has been declared in Delhi and nearby areas by the pollution control body mandated by the Apex Court. Environment Pollution Authority bans construction activity till the 5th of November as pollution levels in the region enter the severe plus or emergency category. Election Commission to announce dates for Jharkhand Legislative Assembly elections today. The term for the 81-member Jharkhand Assembly to end on the 27th of December. U.S. House of Representatives passes a resolution to formally proceed with the impeachment inquiry against U.S. President Donald Trump. The measure is not a vote on whether to impeach the president, but only details how the inquiry will move into a more public phase. First T20 match against Bangladesh on the 3rd of November cannot be cancelled at the last minute despite deteriorating air quality in Delhi, says BCCI President Saurav Ganguly. Promises practical scheduling in the near future. Our top focus this afternoon, German Chancellor Angela Merkel, who is on a two-day visit to India today, met Prime Minister Narendra Modi in New Delhi and held Indo-German Intergovernmental consultations. IGC is a unique, broad format dialogue chaired by the both leaders with members of cabinet participating from both sides. 22 pacts or agreements were signed between the two countries after the talks. While addressing the joint press briefing with the German Chancellor, PM Modi invited Germany to explore opportunities in building defence corridors in India.
हम जर्मनी को आमंत्रित करते हैं कि रक्षा उत्पाद के क्षेत्र में उत्तर प्रदेश और तमिलनाडु में डिफेंस कॉरिडोर में अवसरों का लाभ उठाएं। फ्रेंड्स, भारत और जर्मनी के विश्वास और मित्रतापूर्ण संबंध डेमोक्रेसी, रूल ऑफ लॉ जैसे साझा मूल्यों पर आधारित है।
PM also said that both the countries agreed to combat terrorism and extremism together.
आतंकवाद और उग्रवाद जैसे खतरों से निपटने के लिए हम बायलैटरल और मल्टीलैटरल सहयोग को और घनिष्ठ बनाएंगे। एक्सपोर्ट कंट्रोल रेजिम्स और विभिन्न अंतर्राष्ट्रीय मंचों में भारत की सदस्यता को जर्मनी के सशक्त समर्थन के लिए हम जर्मनी के आभारी हैं। दोनों देश सुरक्षा परिषद, संयुक्त राष्ट्र और अंतर्राष्ट्रीय व्यवस्था में अन्य आवश्यक सुधार शीघ्र कराने के लिए सहयोग और प्रयास जारी रखेंगे। सन 2022 में स्वतंत्र भारत 75 वर्ष का होगा। तब तक हमने न्यू इंडिया के निर्माण का लक्ष्य रखा है। इस बहुआयामी प्रयास में भारत की प्राथमिकताओं और आवश्यकताओं के लिए जर्मनी जैसे टेक्नोलॉजिकल और इकोनॉमिक पावर हाउस की क्षमताएं उपयोगी होगी। इसलिए हमने न्यू एंड एडवांस टेक्नोलॉजी, आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस, स्किल्स, एजुकेशन, साइबर सिक्योरिटी जैसे क्षेत्रों में सहयोग बढ़ाने पर विशेष बल दिया है। ई मोबिलिटी, फ्यूल सेल टेक्नोलॉजी, स्मार्ट सिटीज, इनलैंड वाटरवेज, कोस्टल मैनेजमेंट, नदियों की सफाई, और पर्यावरण संरक्षण में सहयोग की नई संभावनाओं को विकसित करने का हमने फैसला किया है।
Earlier, the visiting German Chancellor Angela Merkel was accorded a ceremonial reception at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. The German Chancellor also visited Rajghat and paid tributes to the father of the nation, Mahatma Gandhi. India and Germany have established a strategic partnership that is characterized by a high degree of trust and mutual understanding. Our correspondent Arun Sharma is joining us now from Delhi for more on this. Arun, is Germany all set to be a steadfast partner of India in its pursuit to build a new India by 2022 with cooperation now moving beyond traditional areas of cooperation into newer areas like urban green mobility and artificial intelligence?
That's right. These were the areas that we all were expecting that MoUs, agreements or joint declaration can be made as far as the skill development sector or the artificial intelligence is concerned. That's what exactly happened. Now, let me tell you, Munmun, that the important part is that as far as this meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Angela Merkel is that now Prime Minister Narendra Modi clearly said that as far as terrorism is concerned, Prime Minister Narendra Modi said that, we'll be strengthening all our bilateral and multilateral efforts to combat terrorism. So that's an important part that terrorism also was the main dominating point and was highlighted as far as, between the meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Angela Merkel. So, and second important aspect is that, as I said, Munmun, that 22 agreements, joint declarations and a statement of intent was signed. And primarily 5 joint declarations were signed between India and Germany. Now, this the primary joint declaration are in the field of green urban mobility, artificial intelligence, marine litter, and of course on cooperation on strategic projects like railways and all that. So now important part is that these joint declarations clearly indicate that Germany is all set to cooperate India as far as smart cities is concerned, as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, as far as green mobility in our country is concerned. So these projects will of course help India in the smart city mission, of course in Make in India campaign. So this is an important joint declaration between India and Germany. And last but not least, 17 MoUs and agreements were also signed between India and Germany. Now that clearly indicates that both India and Germany are looking forward to increase participation in wide range of sectors, including from the agriculture sector, because as Prime Minister Narendra Modi always says that we're looking for per drop, more crop. And therefore Germany will be giving, a technical aspect as well and technical cooperation also as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. So the farmers of our country will be getting new technology as far as agriculture sector is concerned, new techniques as far as the agriculture sector is concerned. So agriculture sector to the artificial intelligence, everything dominated between the meeting between Prime Minister Narendra Modi and, of course, Angela Merkel. And, of course, 22 agreements, a statement of intent, and joint declarations were signed between both the countries as of now. And the meeting as of now is going on between the business delegation that is also meeting the leaders. So that's an update as of now, Munmun.
So what's the expectation from the meeting between the leaders and the CEOs of India and Germany, considering that Germany continues to be our largest trading partner from within the EU?
Well, that's right. Now, Munmun, we should understand this fact that Germany is also looking for bigger market as of now. The German companies primarily are looking for bigger market, and India is a big consumption market for a country like Germany as well. We also know this fact, Munmun, that when Prime Minister Narendra Modi he visited Germany, at that time he also visited the Hanover Fair, which was held in Germany. At that time, the Make in India was the primary theme of that Hanover Fair. That Make in India was prominently showcased during the Hanover Fair, which was organized in Germany. And so this indicates that India and Germany both are looking for bigger market, and what primarily Germany is looking for from India is the bigger market, because you know this, like, it's a country of 130 crore people. It's a big consumption market for Germany. So on the other side, what India is looking for from Germany is the new technology, number one. Artificial intelligence is number two. That's something India is looking for. Because if India wants to make the Make in India campaign a big hit, a big success, the next phase for the Make in India is, of course, the artificial intelligence and robotics. How can we include more and more artificial intelligence and robotics into a Make in India campaign? So that's the reason why India is also looking for themes like artificial intelligence, robotics, and in these areas and fields, the MoUs were also signed. The joint declaration primarily were also signed between India and Germany. So yes, it is a win-win situation for both the countries, whereby Germany is looking for a bigger market, a consumption-based market, and that is India is providing to Germany. And on the other side, India is looking for big technological-based approaches and the technical assistance as far as artificial intelligence is concerned, which of course Germany is providing to India. So that's an important aspect as far as both the countries are concerned, Munmun.
And what are the other key engagements that are likely to play out today as well as tomorrow?
Well, as far as the program of Dr. Angela Merkel is concerned, she will also be visiting the auto companies, primarily the German companies which are based in India. We also know that this is fact, Munmun, that there are various auto companies which are based in India, and they're providing a lot of jobs to the people of our country. So she will, of course, be visiting the German companies which are based in India. So, and as of now, Dr. Angela Merkel is also, of course, meeting the CEOs, the global CEOs, primarily the big top 30 companies, which are listed companies also. The meeting the CEOs of that company, the business delegation it's a power-packed business delegation, Munmun, which the leaders are meeting as of now. So these are some of the major highlights which we can expect from Dr. Angela Merkel, who is visiting over here in India.
Right, Arun. Thank you for those updates from Delhi. Let's get some perspective now, and for that we are joined by Sriram Cholia. He is a strategic affairs analyst. Mr. Cholia, welcome to Midday Prime. How significant has this visit of Angela Merkel to Delhi been in terms of strategic cooperation between India and Germany, considering that Prime Minister said that India and Germany are on the same page on challenges like terrorism and extremism, and Prime Minister also invited several German companies to invest in defense corridors in Tamil Nadu and UP?
That's right, Munmun. I mean, it rests on two legs. This bilateral partnership has trade, commerce, and technology transfer, and climate change, and all those softer issues, but also counter-terrorism and intelligence sharing, as well as defense manufacturing. So if we talk about the second set, the Germans, as the leaders of the EU, have a pretty extensive intelligence network in Europe to track radical jihadist groups and far-right extremists, and they have been facing many attacks across the continent, including from ISIS and other groups. So, the movement of terrorist groups and their communications, they do intercept, and I think we are looking forward to cooperation with them to make sure that no anti-India elements are misusing European soil or transiting through that area. The second thing I would say is that, as you mentioned, the cutting edge new area, the new fields, artificial intelligence, also green mobility. Green mobility, if you remember the Delhi metro, some of the coaches were manufactured in Germany. And I think Angela Merkel is also scheduled to visit one of the Delhi metro stations. But apart from that, since that time, 2009, when we first started this cooperation in public transport, it has moved quite ahead, and Germany has got, you know, blueprints for carbon neutral transportation and all these kinds of new emerging ideas. So like Japan in Asia, Germany is one of the front runners in these fields, you know, and in tackling climate change. So I think we will need more and more German support. That's what Prime Minister was emphasizing, because without a major industrial and technologically advanced powerhouse, as Prime Minister called it, our own developmental journey will be incomplete. So Prime Ministers always made an effort to combine our developmental needs and diplomacy, and this is the coming together of those things. Arun mentioned smart cities, smart farms for agriculture, and skill development. You know, the Germans are the most advanced in their vocational education system, and Prime Minister has been trying to bring that model here to train, because we have ITIs and such things in India, but they have not really gone up to the skill levels that we need to rev up our economic growth. So these are the areas, I think, Munmun, where I think Germany is going to be pivotal for our growth and for our rise.
And now we know that the meeting is on between the leaders and the CEOs of India as well as Germany. What can one expect from this meeting in terms of particularly the BTIA, the bilateral broad-based trade and investment agreement between India and the European Union that is to be negotiated between the two
Well,
sides?
Munmun, the India-EU FTA, you know, has been stuck for 11 years. It started 2007. There are some sectors on which we have not been able to find convergence. For example, automobiles. Germany is a big manufacturer and exporter of automobiles, but of course their companies are here and they are manufacturing right here in India. But at the same time, there are other European countries and manufacturers that want open access to Indian market. They also want greater market access in wines and spirits and such sectors. On the other hand, India, we have wanted freer movement of our people, skilled personnel. And it's good to see there is an agreement today signed in front of the two leaders on mobility of our service personnel, because that's where our services is where our strength is, and we want to export more to the EU. And Germany, as a leader of the EU, can push the things forward. And I think we have always, whenever Prime Minister Modi and Angela Merkel have met, and they have met, you know, multiple times across different venues, we have been trying to fast forward the India-EU FTA. And in fact, there's a new energy and there is a hope that eventually we'll reach it. But as our Commerce Minister mentioned a few days ago, it will take time, because, you know, there are many sectoral level objections. But the more we engage at the top level with Germany, the easier the process is eventually for us to move ahead with the bilateral investment treaty with the EU.
Another interesting MOU that was signed, Sriram Cholia, was the MOU for setting up academic collaboration between India and Germany on Ayurveda, yoga and meditation. We've seen a lot happen over the past 5 years, particularly in the field of people-to-people contacts and exchanges. There are 15,000 Indian students who study in various colleges and universities in Germany. There was earlier a demand that was also raised to have mutual recognition of qualifications between the two sides. How will yoga, meditation and Ayurveda take this people-to-people relationship between the two sides forward?
Well, Munmun, you know, Angela Merkel mentioned in her statement that India is a big, diverse country, and I cannot understand it fully even in a 2-day trip like this. But still, she said, back home in Germany, the level of comprehension of India's cultural greatness is quite limited. And this is despite the fact that you go back in time to Max Muller and all the famous German scholars who came and studied Sanskrit and translated these works for the Europeans and opened the Indian civilization to the West. Germany was a big medium for it. But somewhere we lost that connection. Prime Minister has been emphasizing, India's greatest heritage, Ayurveda, yoga especially. These should travel. Whenever we have International Yoga Day, the Germans have been participating. Our embassy there has been mobilizing people. But I would still say that the level of understanding of India's greatness is still limited, especially among the younger generation in Germany. So creating more educational synergy and having students mobility and exchange of faculty both in scientific and in social science arenas will make a big difference, because and languages as well. I think this is the area where Hindi, Sanskrit as well as German are all considered to be Indo-European languages, and they have some commonalities at vocabulary and grammar and syntax, and we have not really energized that and leveraged that. So I think the cultural diplomacy, I saw Prime Minister and Angela Merkel both nodding especially on this issue. It shows that, you know, diplomacy is not all about trade and commerce and about defense and making money. It's also about, you know, building the people-to-people networks. And the fact that we have intergovernmental consultations, Moon, is a big deal, because remember, she brought more than 12 of her cabinet ministers with her, and their counterparts are sitting on the other side. This is not just a pure summit between the top leaders. It is a summit between the entire ministerial format as well as the business community of two sides. That shows how comprehensive this relationship is. We call it strategic relationship, Moon. Many people think, well, strategic means there must be, like, you know, joint military coordination against a third country, you know, to counterbalance against China or something. No, this is a very different type of strategic relationship. It is one where we are saying, when the economics is big, when the trade and commerce are big, when the people to people become thick and strong, that also is strategic, you know. And this is Europe's leader, number one power of the liberal Western world today, in the absence of the US, and they are coming here, they are endorsing our diversity, our democracy, and she is praising Mahatma Gandhi, and she is really reaffirming the faith of the world in our Prime Minister's leadership, because there have been some misguided criticisms of what we are doing in Kashmir and all that. Nothing of the sort. Angela Merkel is saying India is a great country, and everybody in Europe is keen on investing and shaking hands with us and in working with us. That, I think, is a level of recognition and strategic partnership.
You said that diplomacy is not just about hard diplomacy, it's also about soft diplomacy, and sports would be part of that soft diplomacy outreach by India as well as by Germany to each other. Well, an MoU has been signed between All India Football Federation as well as the DFB. We know that Germany is one of the world leaders in soccer, and there are a number of football or soccer lovers in India as well. So can such cooperation bring people of the two countries closer?
Well, definitely, plus also, you know, the transfer of skills, even in a soft field like sports. I mean, the NBA, the National Basketball Association of the US, has come here and has moved, and President Trump was very happy about it at the Howdy Modi event. He specially mentioned that. And now Angela Merkel is bringing German football here. It is going to raise our standards. And remember, you know, we often underperform in the Olympics and in big global events, and we fail to even qualify for the World Cups in soccer. So we have a long way to go in some emerging, you know, these new sporting areas which have been neglected. So to have German coaches or to be trained in German academies for our players to get access to that, just imagine the kind of boost it will get, because they are the best in the world. They are almost always in the World Cup finals or have been champions for the last you know, few occasions. So it just shows how much there is that Germany can transfer to us, you know, and we could benefit from this. So this is a win-win partnership. They, as Arun was saying, they gain market access, and they want to have a large emerging country like India to promote the EU values of you know, combating climate change and democracy and multilateralism. Dr. Jaishankar, our foreign minister, met with his Heiko Maas, the German counterpart, on the sidelines of today's summit, and he mentioned especially that we have multilateralism, which is a common bond. Germany believes in that, and so does India, in regionalism and multilateralism. Today's world, those are in short supply. So from sports to keeping up the liberal world order, India and Germany are together.
And on the issue of climate change, the Prime Minister referred to the various MoUs across fields like innovation, high technology, energy, etc., and said that all this will serve the purpose of combating climate change. So there may not have been a specific MoU on combating climate change, but a definite step in that direction during the fifth round of the intergovernmental consultations, isn't it?
Oh, most definitely. You know, the Germans, in fact, Angela Merkel praised India for doing very fast-paced renewable energy production. She mentioned the gigawatts, and she said that I can only congratulate you for that, because the Europeans place very, very high you know, stakes on climate diplomacy. And on that sphere, they know that India is one of the few large developing countries which is actually making rapid progress in terms of relatively speaking, in terms of reducing emissions, but also moving to alternatives. So green mobility, for example, ties into this concern of the Europeans, because if we are able to develop the smart cities which have fewer carbon emissions, and this is an area where some German cities are very, very advanced, that's the area where, in a practical level, the two countries can come together and reduce. I mean, we are talking about the emergency in Delhi with pollution. Those things can be, you know, really swept aside through international cooperation. It's not just a domestic issue, and this is the area where I think on climate, Germany thinks India is a leader. And Germany has honored our Prime Minister repeatedly and has mentioned in very strong terms that he is the one big hope of the entire developing world, because he is leading a giant country with 1.2 billion people in a way where our carbon footprint is being lessened. And I think that's a huge contribution to global governance and global good, something that the liberal politicians in Europe like Angela Merkel, they care a lot about it. So be it Emmanuel Macron of France or Angela Merkel of Germany, for them this matters tremendously, because India seems to be taking the lead and showing the way to other developing countries on how to move towards wind and solar and nuclear and other forms. Germany in fact has even given up nuclear lately, and therefore the prices of energy have gone up in Germany. But they are therefore investing more in alternatives and renewables, and they are willing to transfer because it's a competitive market. They know India, solar panels for example, installation of those, I mean, why should we only buy from China? Why can't we take some from Germany and from other countries? So I think they are looking at these options. After Brexit, our companies are going to move more towards the continental Europe, and there, Germany is the largest economy, is the biggest trading partner. So there are lots of, blue horizons facing the two countries.
Absolutely. So post-Brexit, if and when that happens, the economic cooperation between India and Germany is only going to get stronger. Thank you, Dr. Sriram Cholia, for having joined us on Midday Prime. Let's move on now. A public health emergency has been declared in Delhi and nearby areas by the pollution control body mandated by the Supreme Court, as the region has been struggling with rising air pollution levels since Diwali. The Environment Pollution Prevention and Control Authority has restricted all construction work in Delhi, Gurgaon, Faridabad, Noida, Ghaziabad and Greater Noida, and all coal-based industries in Faridabad, Delhi, Gurugram, Noida, Greater Noida, Sonipat, Panipat, Bahadurgarh and Bhiwandi will remain closed till the 5th of November. Also, bursting of crackers are banned during the winter season, and hot mix plants, stone crushers will be closed till the 5th of November in all NCR districts, as the pollution level in the region entered the severe plus or emergency category late Thursday night, the first time since January. Union Minister for Information and Broadcasting Prakash Javadekar flagged off the electric vehicles procured by the ministry. While addressing the gathering, he said that government has encouraged those who procure e-vehicles to contain pollution.
शहरों में खास करके जहां लाखों वाहन चलते हैं, वहां ई व्हीकल ज़्यादा हो, ये जरूरी है। और इसके लिए भारत सरकार ने ई व्हीकल लेने वाले को सब्सिडी दिया है, प्रोत्साहन दिया है, इंसेंटिवाइज किया है। और डीजल व्हीकल लेने वालों को थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा taxation rakha hai to disincentivize.
The minister said that all stakeholders should focus on controlling pollution and avoid political statements.
ईस्टर्न एक्सप्रेस पेरिफेरल वे के लिए और ये बाईपास रोड जिससे दिल्ली का प्रदूषण सीधा कम होने वाला था, उसके लिए 3500 करोड़ रुपए राज्य सरकार को देने थे, वो दिए नहीं। आखिर कोर्ट ने आदेश दिया कि 1000 करोड़ तुरंत जमा करो। कोर्ट को आदेश करना पड़ा। हरियाणा पंजाब को दोष देना, एक दूसरे को दोष देना, इसके बजाय प्रदूषण के खिलाफ जो मोदी सरकार ने नीति अपनाई कि 5 राज्यों के लोगों को इकट्ठा बिठाकर उद्योगों में और अन्य गतिविधियों में प्रदूषण कैसे कम हो, इसकी चिंता करें, उसका पालन करें।
The blanket of haze over Delhi thickened this morning, with the national capital's pollution levels increasing overnight by around 50 points, taking the overall air quality index to 459. At 8:30 a.m., the capital's overall air quality index stood at 459. It was 410 at 8 p.m. on Thursday. All the 37 air quality monitoring stations across Delhi recorded the air quality in the severe category. This morning, weather experts said increased wind speed due to a fresh western disturbance approaching the northern region would help disperse pollutants faster from Saturday. A number of people gave a miss to morning walks and sports activities and preferred to stay indoors. Our correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya, who's tracking the pollution levels in Delhi NCR, is joining us. Tapas, I can see a smog behind you, and that's been the case since Diwali, where there seems that we are living in a gas chamber of sorts. How alarming is the situation, considering that it's for the first time since January that AQI, or Air Quality Index, in Delhi NCR has gone past the severe mark to severe plus or emergency?
Yes, absolutely, Murmun. You're bang on that. Since Diwali, it's in fact today is the fourth day that we are finding the situation absolutely severe, bordering on the line of a major emergency. In fact, Delhi government has, because of this air quality, has decided to close all schools till Tuesday. So till Tuesday, all the schools in Delhi will be closed. When you talk about the air quality, I was just going through the Suffer app, which monitors the air quality index, real-time air quality index, and as of now, I can tell you it's 533, which is severe. I mean, extreme severe. So, and if we take a look at tomorrow's air quality index, it is not expected to improve. In fact, it is going to be 548. In fact, Delhi overall is, if I tell you, if it's there in the severe quality, then think about places like Noida, where the AQ level has actually crossed the 650 barrier. So you can very well imagine places like Noida and Ghaziabad, the people are living there in a all-time what you call emergency, health emergency you may call it, because the PM 2.5, the level which is so high, has a potential to cause severe respiratory diseases in the citizens, especially for people like people who are the citizens who are old, or for that matter even kids. They are more receptive to these kind of diseases. But these are extreme times, and both central government as well as state governments are taking necessary precautions to make sure that it doesn't go out of hand. Murmun.
Right, Tapas, and you've told us that schools have been closed in Delhi till Tuesday. There are other restrictions that fall under the Greater Response Action Plan, or GRAP, made by the EPCA, mandated by the Supreme Court. They also are coming into force. But besides those restrictions that are mandated by the EPCA, are authorities taking more action? Are more interventions being made by authorities to ensure that this is over sooner than later?
Well, there are a couple of things that needs to be looked out here. First, the environment, the natural way how to clear the smog. One expect that by Saturday, Sunday, the western disturbance will pick up some wind in the region. Right now, in the Delhi NCR region, the problem is that there is not much of a wind activity that is going on at the upper level, and because of that, and at the lower level of the atmosphere, and because of that, the smog, the air, pollutant levels are getting accumulated. If the wind picks up with the western disturbance, one expect that the situation will improve. May not be in the severe category. You may expect the atmosphere to be in the very poor category, but it will be still better than what it is right now. Now, that is the natural part of how nature is going to help. But coming back to the graded action plan, it has been told to the authorities that all the construction activities that are going on currently in the greater Noida, Ghaziabad, and the other NCR region, it has been stopped completely till 5th of November, making sure that no such activities take place. And these are some of the major pollutants when it comes to the PM 2.5 that we are right now seeing a spike of it. The Punjab and Haryana, we have seen that there is a increase, burning of the crop, the residual crop that is there, and it has been calculated that almost by yesterday 20,000 such cases were accepted. So in many ways the spike in these states have actually made the matter even worse. We have seen at the end of Diwali that it has made sure that by the end of Diwali, all those actions that were taken earlier have actually come to naught. But having said all that, the actions have been taken, the greater action plan has been put in place. It is now important that all the authorities take necessary action to make sure that implementation and the execution of these plans can be followed toe to toe. Because if that takes place, then one expects that in the matter of few days the situation will improve. But as of now, the situation is actually quite severe. So much so, as you can see, behind me, the India Gate. I'm not that far away from India Gate, that iconic statue. We can't see that. I mean, there's a major haze there. In front of me, the whole North Block, South Block is there. I can't see the North Block, South Block. And so right now, Delhi and NCR region is actually submerged in a thick smog of fog, and that only will be the Delhiites can get relief of that, reprieve from that in next couple of days, hopefully with some sort of rain, or hopefully with a western disturbance picking up some sort of a wind activity, which will disperse this PM 2.5 and PM 10.
Absolutely, Tapas. Thank you for those updates from Delhi. Well, a week after announcement of results for the 21st of October Assembly elections, there appeared no headway in government formation in Maharashtra. On Thursday, Shiv Sena elected Eknath Shinde as party's leader in the state legislature. Uddhav Thackeray was also present in the meeting. BJP and Shiv Sena have not yet resolved the differences over the formation of government in Maharashtra. And our correspondent Shyama now joins us for more on this. Shyama, has the Shiv Sena only hardened its stand on the demand for chief ministership? Shyama, can you hear me? Shyama, if you can hear me, I was asking you if the Shiv Sena is continuing to drive a hard bargain for the post of chief minister with the BJP. Right, Sham, we'll try and go across to Shama in subsequent bulletins. For now, we'll move on. The Election Commission will announce dates for Jharkhand Legislative Assembly elections today. The term of 81-member Jharkhand Assembly will end on the 27th of December. The election will be the third full state poll since Prime Minister Narendra Modi led the BJP to a massive win in Lok Sabha elections in April-May. It will also be the third BJP-ruled state to head to polls this year, following Maharashtra and Haryana, which voted on the 21st of October. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will visit Thailand from the 2nd of November to the 4th, during which he will attend the ASEAN, India, East Asia and RCEP summits. Briefing the media on PM Modi's upcoming visit, Secretary East Vijay Thakur Singh said that PM Modi will be visiting Bangkok at the invitation of Thai Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha. Negotiations for resolving outstanding issues on RCEP are going on in Bangkok, she said, adding the leaders will review the state of negotiations at the summit.
Prime Minister will be visiting Bangkok from 2nd to 4th November. At the invitation of the Prime Minister of Thailand, His Excellency Prayut Chan-o-cha, and his visit is for the 16th ASEAN-India Summit, 14th East Asia Summit, the 3rd RCEP Summit and related events. The ASEAN-related summits are an integral part of our diplomatic calendar. This will be Prime Minister Modi's 7th ASEAN-India Summit and 6th East Asia Summit.
And our correspondent Ravi Dhiman is now joining us from Bangkok for more on this. Ravi, will all eyes be on finalization of RCEP? Ravi, can you hear me? Well, we'll now move on and try and connect with our correspondent later. Cyclone Maha in the Arabian Sea has crossed Lakshadweep. India Met Department has said that the system in the Arabian Sea is intensifying into a severe cyclonic storm and lays centered at 250 kilometers north-northeast of Kavaratti in the island's territory. It said heavy rainfall is expected in most parts of Lakshadweep and light to moderate rain in some places in Tamil Nadu and Kerala. In the next 24 hours, total suspension of fishing has been suggested over the southeast Arabian Sea and along the Kerala and Karnataka coast today and the east central Arabian Sea till Monday. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is visiting Tashkent, Uzbekistan to attend a key meeting of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. He will also participate in bilateral engagements with Uzbekistan government. Raksha Mantri will represent India at the meeting of the Council of Heads of Government of SCO in Tashkent. The leaders participating in the meeting are expected to focus their discussions on multilateral economic cooperation in the SCO region. This will be the third Council of Heads of Government meeting after India became a member of the SCO. And now a look at what's making news across the globe. U.S. House of Representatives approved a resolution designed to formalize proceedings of an impeachment inquiry into President Donald Trump on Thursday, setting the stage for what they called the next phase of the investigation. The resolution, unveiled earlier this week by the House Rules Committee, was passed 232 to 196 by the Democratic-controlled House. No Republicans voted in favor of it and only 2 Democrats voted against it. According to a text of the resolution, it establishes procedures for public impeachment hearings and the release of deposition transcripts and outlines the House Judiciary Committee's role in considering potential articles of impeachment. This was the first time that the House had taken a full chamber vote related to the impeachment inquiry since House Speaker Nancy Pelosi initiated it in late September. Trump, in tweets on Thursday morning, called the impeachment inquiry the greatest witch hunt in American history, claiming that it was hurting the nation's stock market. White House Press Secretary Stephanie Grisham issued a statement in response to the resolution, accusing it of still failing to provide any due process whatsoever to the Trump administration. Well, we know that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be leaving for Thailand to attend the India-ASEAN as well as the East Asia summits as well as the RCEP summits. For more on what to expect from Prime Minister's visit to Thailand and from these summits, we have with us our correspondent Ravi Dhiman. He's joining us from Bangkok. Ravi, will all eyes be on whether an RCEP is finally negotiated?
Yeah, that's true, Munmun. RCEP is one of the most important summits, most important talks that Prime Minister Narendra Modi will engage with the world leaders here in Bangkok. RCEP, or the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, essentially is a free trade agreement between the 10 ASEAN nations and other nations, which includes China, India, South Korea, Japan, Australia and New Zealand. So basically it will be a free trade agreement between a very big bloc of the world, which accounts for nearly 33% of the global GDP, and it will be a path-breaking agreement if all the nations agree to it. As far as India is concerned, India has made it clear that the agreement and any pact that is signed should be a win-win situation for all the nations, and it should not weigh heavily on any one nation or any one bloc. And India will be putting forward its views at the RCEP summit here. All eyes will be on Prime Minister Narendra Modi, as India has made clear its all the points regarding this agreement, which is being touted as one of the biggest economic agreement to happen in many years and in many decades. So India will put forward its concerns and will hope that other countries and other leaders will be receptive to those concerns, and Prime Minister will be keenly watched. His each step and his decisions will be keenly watched here. Apart from RCEP, Prime Minister will also go to an Indian community event here in Bangkok, and he will also go to a business event which will see Prime Minister delivering a key address in presence of who's who of not only Thailand's business community but also the Indian business community headed by the chairman of the Aditya Birla group of companies, Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla.
Ravi, have any bilateral meetings been finalized between PM Modi and other world leaders on the sidelines of these summits?
Munmun, as we speak, the Indian Embassy and the officials of Ministry of External Affairs are working feverishly to finalize the bilaterals that Prime Minister will have, but we have been given to understand that there will be at least 4 to 5 bilaterals on the sidelines, including one that is a bilateral with the host nation. India has deep cultural contacts with Thailand, and it shares cultural linkages with Thailand. There are many words in the Thai language that resemble our own linguistic words in India. And some of the cultural things like the Namaste and the Savadi, which is what they call it here, are similar. And many places here have names that resemble places or names in India. So there are deep cultural linkages between the two nations. So people-to-people contact will also be high on Prime Minister's agenda here in Thailand. Apart from Thailand, there will be bilaterals, at least with 4 other nations also, the contours of which are being finalized.
We've seen how the Modi government, Ravi, has proactively worked on its Act East policy. So is this visit of the Prime Minister going to be yet another opportunity for India to give a further impetus to its Act East policy?
Yeah, that's true. ASEAN is the central pillar for India's diplomatic policy. It is the central pillar for India's Act East policy. India has been engaging quite effectively and actively with ASEAN. We all know that India has a free trade agreement with the ASEAN bloc, and the business has been zooming up for both the blocs. It has touched around $12 billion. It registered a 20% increase in one financial year, and it has the potential to go even further. As a bloc, the ASEAN has a very booming economy, and that is beneficial to India as well. And engaging with ASEAN leaders will have its own benefits for the Indian businesses, for Indian community, and it's a win-win situation for both ASEAN and India.
Right, Ravi, thank you for those updates from Bangkok. Pakistan has waived off 2 conditions ahead of Kartarpur inauguration. Pakistan Prime Minister has announced that passports will no longer be required for Sikh pilgrims from India to visit Kartarpur, and no fee would be charged from pilgrims, and only a valid ID will be needed for entering Pakistan for Kartarpur pilgrimage. He said that Sikh pilgrims from India visiting Kartarpur will no longer have to register 10 days in advance, and only a valid identity proof is enough for the visit. The Kartarpur corridor will connect the Dera Baba Nanak shrine in India's Punjab with Darbar Sahib at Kartarpur near Pakistan's Punjab province. India and Pakistan have signed an agreement on the corridor last week, which allows 5,000 Indian pilgrims daily to visit Gurudwara Darbar Sahib. It's time now to take a look at all that is making news in the world of sports. My colleague Anil Thomas joins us with Sports Prime. It's over to you, Anil.
Thank you, Moon. First half wrestling, and Indian grappler Pooja Gehlot in the 53-kilogram category entered the finals after beating Turkey's Zeynep Yetgil in the semi-finals of the World Wrestling Under-23 World Championship on Thursday. Pooja scripted a superb comeback as she fought her way back from a 2-4 deficit to win 8-4 against Yetgil, a gold medalist at the Junior European Wrestling Championship in 2018. In the summit clash on Friday, Pooja will be up against Haruna Okuno of Japan. No Indian has ever won a gold in the last 3 editions of the World Championship under 23. Ravinder earlier had settled for a silver medal on Wednesday after going down to Kazakhstan's Ulbalik Holshobakov in the 61 kg final. At the Under-23 World Wrestling Championship in Budapest, Indian grappler Ravinder set for the silver medal thereafter going down in that final against Ulbek Holbekov in the final. He suffered a 3-5 loss to Ulbek in the 61 kg category on Thursday. Ulbek is the current Asian Under-23 World Champion. Ravinder led till the end of the first period, but a strong comeback from Ulbek ensured that the latter won the bout 5-3 by superiority of play. Despite the loss, it was a credible performance from Ravinder, who had won gold at the South Asian Games in 2016 and also a bronze medal at the Cadet Asian Championship in 2014. The Indian men's and women's hockey team will look to book their spots at the Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020 when they take part in the FIH Hockey Olympic qualifiers in Odisha on the 1st and 2nd of November. That's today and tomorrow at the Kalinga Hockey Stadium. World number 5 Indian men's hockey team are scheduled to play world number 22 Russia, while the world number 9 Indian women's hockey team will face tough competition from world number 13 USA in the 2-leg tie. The winners of the FIH Hockey Olympic qualifiers, Odisha, will qualify for the Olympic Games in Tokyo 2020. Both the Indian teams were drawn at home against their respective opponents due to their higher ranking. The Indian men's hockey team will be facing Russia only for the 3rd time since 2008, with the previous 2 encounters seeing the host register huge victories. Meanwhile, the Indian women's team have played their opponents, the United States of America, on 8 occasions since 2014, registering 1 win, which came in the test matches held in 2016. James Wins ensured England began their winter tour of New Zealand on a high with a 7-wicket victory in the first T20 match in Christchurch. Wins struck a fine 59-run knock of 38 deliveries as England reached the target of 154 with 9 balls to spare in Chris Silverwood's first game as head coach. Ross Taylor made 44 in New Zealand's 153 for 5, with Chris Jordan taking 2 for 28 and debutant Pat Brown taking 1 for 30. The second game of the 5-match series is in Wellington on Sunday. The opening T20 match against Bangladesh can't be cancelled at the last minute despite the deteriorating air quality in the national capital, said BCCI President Sourav Ganguly, but he dropped hints that North Indian venues may not be considered for matches after Diwali in future. Paddy burning in the northern states of Haryana and Punjab, combined with bursting of crackers during Diwali celebrations, severely impact the air quality in the national capital region every year.
We've spoken to Delhi authorities in the last 2 days. They're expecting the match to go through, but it was already scheduled, so we couldn't cancel it at the last minute. We came in on the 28th and it was too late to do anything because a lot of preparations go in matches, tickets, crowds, everything, so it's not possible to cancel things in the last minute. I hope it goes through, but post-Diwali is a bit of a difficult time in the north because the winter comes in and a lot of smoke and dust and everything. So in the future, when we schedule, especially northern part of India in the winter, we'll have to be a little bit more practical. But as I said, fingers crossed, spoke to the groundsman. He says once the sun comes out, it'll be fine. He was my groundsman in Delhi capital, so I know him a bit more. So he said, yeah, everything will be fine. So fingers crossed, we want the game to happen.
Well, that's all we have in sports. Back to Moon for more updates.
Thanks, Anil, for that roundup. And now it's time for our next segment, Life Prime, where we bring you stories from the world of art, culture, cinema, fashion, science and innovation. Stories that are bringing smiles, stories that are changing lives. Chhath Puja is being celebrated with religious fervour and gaiety in Bihar, Jharkhand and eastern part of Uttar Pradesh. Devotees take 36 hours fast to pay oblations to the setting sun. Chhath will conclude after paying oblations to the rising sun on Sunday morning. The festival is dedicated to the sun god, which people believe sustains life on earth. Hindus believe that the early sunlight helps to cure many diseases and is a great source of healing too. Chhath Puja is performed to seek blessings from Lord Surya for a long, healthy and prosperous life. Some people eat to live, whereas others live to eat. Food is no longer a need but also a passion for some. One such restaurant in Thailand is making its dream come true, weighing around 6 kilograms, composed of an estimated 10,000 calories, covered in fried onion rings, layers of bacon and mayonnaise. This burger, officially called the 6 kg burger, isn't for the faint-hearted. Christie's and Burgers of Bangkok, which specializes in large portion meat dishes, is serving it up to customers, Thailand's biggest burgers, as they claim it to be. Set as a challenge, promising a 10,000 baht prize for those who can finish the burger within 9 minutes. However, restaurant owner Kamdech Kongsuwan warns customers not to choke themselves amid the time-constrained eating frenzy. That's really not for the faint-hearted. And that's it that we have for you in this edition of the Midday Prime. But we'll keep you updated on the major story that's playing out, which is due to spike in pollution levels in Delhi NCR. Schools have been closed till the 5th of November. The AQI has risen in Delhi NCR to severe plus, that is emergency category, the first time it's happened in Delhi NCR since January. And since Diwali, it seems that Delhiites and those in the satellite towns of Noida, Ghaziabad, etc. have been living in a gas chamber. The smog continues to envelop Delhi NCR. Now, emergency measures coming into place. That's it then. And keep watching DD News and DD India.